Do you believe that your plants might be Salem witches? Well, why don't you hang them? Hey everyone, if you're like me and you're obsessed with plants but you're running out of space for your plants, but you want more plants, I am here with a couple of ideas that might suit you. Before we get to this video, please make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll never miss a video, and please give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. So you need more space for your plants. This is a great idea for plants that like being root bound. It is a good idea for plants that trail. It just looks awesome and kind of unique. I've done this for my staghorn fern that you can see in the background. I think the only downside that I can see from this is when you have to repot your plant. So make sure to do this for plants, like I mentioned earlier, that like being root bound and you're able to give nutrients more through the watering rather than being dependent on a lot of soil. As an extreme plant enthusiast, I am fine if it's tedious to repot my plants. I'm just far more invested in wanting more plants and more space for my plants. This is a very budget-friendly option. The wood came in a big plank. It was only $8. I got some other supplies from the dollar store and from Canadian Tire. It's very inexpensive, and let's get started. So I am gonna do this two ways. I'm gonna do one with moss and one with burlap, just for variety. I'm gonna start with the moss one. So I have this 1" by 10" plank. This is pine, it's been weather treated. If you like, you could stain it or varnish it or paint it, but I really like just this exposed wood. The first thing you would like to do is to install the hangers that you will put your rope in or wire or whichever you prefer. It's good to get that out of the way and then we can mount the plant. So what I will do is find the better side of the wood, which will be this one. And we're gonna hang it up like this. And I am gonna measure about 2 centimeters and make a little dot. I recommend using a pencil that you can erase, but I can't find one. So I'm hoping once I drill into it, it will just take out the color markers. Make little pilot holes with a very small drill bit. Make sure it's centered. And then we're gonna use these lovely hooks. I picked brass colored hooks for the hanging part because that just kind of fits better with the color scheme of the wood. I picked kind of big ones, not too big, but kind of big, so I could easily thread the rope through there. And then we just screw these guys in, leave them sideways. Unless you want them to be more visible, then you can leave them facing forward. Let's make sure they're tight and secure in here. I got this lovely piece of rope from the dollar store for $4. It's quite a big coil, so I can use it for a lot of stuff. We're just gonna thread one through here, put it on the inside so you can tie it. Ta-dam! Looks nice. I'm sure you could make a nicer knot. So you can leave this completely up to your preference. I think with a nice looking rope like this, we can have quite a bit of it visible. Be generous with your cut because you can always trim it afterwards, but you don't want to end up with too short of a rope when it comes to tying it on the other side. Thread it from the inside, just twist it around, make sure it's all secure in there. tuck the end in here or wherever you like. And now look, this is how it will hang on your wall. Fun and rustic. So now that we're done with the hangers part, we can start to create the, what should we call it? The little installment, the mount, the carrier basket, the wire hooks, where we're gonna put our plants in. And I have these 1 by 1/8 hooks. They're tiny enough, but not too tiny. And also, if you place the moss carefully around it, they won't be visible. What we will do is that we will install them in a little bit of a 5-star shape around here, so we can weave through the wires to hold everything securely in place. And since we're using moss for this one, the moss will kind of wrap it around the wire and it won't be visible. Grab a ruler so we can have some measurements. I'm gonna do 1 inch in. Make sure that it is centered. The placement of the hooks doesn't have to be super accurate, just to make it as even as possible, because at the end of the day, they're not gonna be visible. And again, let's make some pilot holes, mix it for easier installation. Just make sure not to drill down to your dining room table. Then grab our hooks. These are called screw eye hooks. At the end of the day, when it comes time to repot your plant, the only thing you really need to do is just to cut the wires. You can preserve the moss and put a new plant in here and put a new wire in. Once you have all of this ready, it's not that difficult to switch things out. As you can see, I've installed the hooks in a way that makes it easy to weave the wire through, and it has created a kind of like a little basket shape here. For this one with the moss, I'm going to use my little Swiss cheese plant, Swiss cheese monstera that we got from my good friend Elaine in Red Deer. I love Swiss cheese plants as a trailing plant more than staking it. So this is gonna be a great plant to put into a wall hanger like this. I'm just gonna plop it out of the nursery pot. It's gonna be a little messy. Potting is always messy anyway. I'm gonna add some more soil to it so it has a little bit more soil to get root bound in. And we're just gonna create this little pocket here within the hooks. If you want to avoid some of the messiness, you can wrap the plant into a cheesecloth, because that will continue to make sure that the plant gets a lot of drainage. Found this fantastic preserved moss at the dollar store for $3. Apparently does not open easily. So messy. It's so dry. Just give it a little spritz just to keep things in place. Give this a little spritz just to make life a little bit easier. It also needs to be watered anyway. Then we just take the nice sheet of moss and decide about how much we need. Rip off the excess. And remember, we're like creating kind of a little pocket for the plant to be in. Now we have this nice little mound here. And now we're just gonna attach it so it all stays in place. So to attach the moss and keep the plant secured in its place, I picked a green gardening wire. It is very soft, it's very pliable, and it's very easy to use. I found to be most convenient is to just cut a lengthy piece and then start weeding it through and through until you feel secure enough about your plant. Can always make the wire shorter or add more wire if needed. And I like to start from the bottom because you don't want the plant to fall from the bottom. And then we are gonna go to the first one and then the second one on the top, and then to the lower one on the other side. Make sure to get it like a good cross section there so it all stays in place. And then to the lower one on the other side. I should also add, this is great for plants that like humidity, like having their soil kinda moist, because the moss can retain a lot of the moisture. And then we just want to give the wire a good round to kind of close in here and just shape everything kind of into place. And then you can just kind of mold it to your heart's desire, and voila, you now have this beautiful mossy plant hanger. It still has plenty of space for the roots to grow. It's gonna be fun for the plant to grow in it, I believe. Ta-da! So for my next one, I've never done this one before, so this is a real life experiment. So for this one, we're gonna make a little burlap pouch, and that way you can just put the plant in there in its nursery pot. It makes it quick and easy if you ever need to replace a plant or repot the plant that is already in there. So how I am going to do it is that I've already installed the hooks, of course, put the rope in. You don't need to see that again. And now we are going to attach a little burlap pouch on here. I'm gonna do it with a glue gun. For the burlap hanger, you're gonna want to make sure that the burlap is wide enough to fit around the nursery pot and also have a little bit of extra length on the side and on the bottom so you can hem it on the inward. This again is a great idea for a plant that likes to trail. And then we just grab our glue gun and glue it all around. And then we can place the outside side on here, because once you wrap it around, it will close up the side so you won't see any ugly frilly ends. You can cut a little piece of a triangle off here, makes it easier to close up the bottom part. I recommend being quite generous with the glue gun and the glue stick, just to err on the side of caution. And before you close the other side, you can take your plant that you plan on having in there. I am picking my neon pothos. I think they will be happy in their new home. I want the nursery pot to be nicely hidden in there. So what we're gonna do first is to attach the other side to ensure that we have enough room to place the pot in there. Make sure it is as close to each side just for evenness and accuracy. And then we can see, yep, it fits perfectly. And then we can close up the rest. And here you go. Now you have a little burlap cradle for your plants. I think it's gonna look really great once this pothos start getting bigger and spilling out everywhere. Da-dum. I think it's gonna be really fun to see these plants now grow in their new homes, where they have a chance to trail down the wall. It's cost effective, it's a fun way to decorate your home, and it definitely gives you a way to place more plants in your home. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you subscribed. I hope you gave it a thumbs up. I hope you leave me a comment and check out my social media. They're all listed at the end of this video: Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. There's something different on all of them. I am consistently getting better at providing more content on there that is not video form. Thank you. I'll see you next time.